we think about this completely, lads? Slot is still new to the Premier League. People said he's going to fall off, but isn't it more logical to think he'll improve since he's still learning?
Well, he will improve. The problem that you've got is that Trent is out of contract, and I reckon he's off to Madrid. Salah is not looking good, and I don't know what Liverpool are playing at that, by the way. And Van Dijk is also out of contract. So if all three of those players leave, which factually at this moment in time they are all leaving because they've not signed a contract, then Liverpool will get worse next year. And by the way, I don't know if we're going to come on to Liverpool, but I just want to say this real quick. Liverpool are an absolute disgrace. The way what they're doing, not giving Salah the contract.
Yeah, I agree.
Jamie Carragher, by the way, what are you chatting about, mate? Yeah, why is Jamie? Do you see this? Jamie Carragher saying he's disappointed in Mo Salah. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He's literally coming out here trying to put pressure on the club to give him a contract. I said it last week on last week's show. I don't think Salah wants to leave. Sorry, I don't know if we're going on to Liverpool at some point.
Yeah, great segue. Keep going.
No, I just think for me, I just think that like Salah is, you take Salah out of the team, and it's like they're no longer like a mint team. They're just a good side. And I don't know why, when you have a player like Salah, you give him the contract. You don't risk, because what they're doing is they don't want to give him a big contract in case he just dies off next year because of his age. But are you seriously going to play chicken with this guy then? What about if you don't give him the contract and he's mint for another 3 or 4 years? And by the way, if you let him leave, what about if he joins City? What about if he joins Real Madrid or Barcelona or something like that?
Man United.
Well, bro, he could do anything. He's out of contract. I think personally, what Liverpool are doing is an absolute joke. And the fans need to be calling this out. People like Jamie Carragher, are just like, mate, I don't know what he's chatting. Absolute load of rubbish. I don't know whether he's got like some sort of gig with Liverpool and he's got to like PR the narrative of the club. I don't know, but what he's chatting there is nonsense. This is, I think, I agree with the debate that's going on. I think Salah is the best right winger in the Premier League. In Premier League history, being my Premier League 11, right? So why you wouldn't just give him the contract, mate? People might go on about aesthetics or the way he plays football or whatever. Mate, the guy gets like 35, 40 G a year. He's an output merchant. Is he the most technical player in the world? No. Mahrez was miles more technical as a player. He's a better footballer, in my opinion. But Salah got you 40 G&A every single season. And the guy never gets injured. And by the way, the fact that he's very rarely been injured means that he'll prolong his career. Because that's what you see a lot with players when they get loads of injuries over the career, that brings their career shorter. Salah's hardly had any injuries, man. So for me, I don't know what they're playing at. And if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be absolutely fuming.
I also think as well, like Salah is actually quite disrespected as a footballer in the Premier League. I think.
Yeah, he is.
I don't really understand what more he has to do for people to appreciate it. Like even LB's just said he bigs him up, but maybe he's not the best of footballers at times. I don't know what he's not good at. If I'm honest, I mean he's great at dribbling, he's great at driving forward, he's superb at finishing. He takes penalties, he takes on players, he takes it round players. I don't know what more he's got to do. I think the guy is phenomenal, and I think this season he's been the best Premier League player by quite some way. And if Liverpool do not offer him a contract, it is an outright disgrace. If these players leave on a free, it's criminal, by the way. Trent going to Real Madrid on a free at 25 years old. Like, how much money could they get if they sold these 3 players, Terry? Honestly, how much money?
Even now, at
I think Trent, you're looking at about 70 mil. Van Dijk, how old is he? 33? Probably going to get 35. And then Salah. The problem with Salah is he's got goals. I think you can get 50, 60 mil for him.
Yeah, you're talking again. You're talking you're getting towards 200 million for the 3 of them. You're pushing towards between 150 and 200 million for the 3 of them. I agree with what you boys have said. And look, when it comes to the Mo Salah debate, I think he's the one thing I would say. I saw David Beckham get dragged into this today, and I do feel like we have to almost date cap these teams because football's changed. David Beckham wouldn't have played as an inside forward or a right winger in this era. He'd have been the midfielder. So comparing them in terms of outputs is crazy. He might have even been a right back in this era, David Beckham. Genuinely could have been a modern day right back. But in terms of, if you look at the last sort of 15 or so years, if you break the Premier League up into sort of 15-year periods, I think it's fair to say in this last 15 years, I don't think there's been a winger in the last 15 years or a forward in the last 15 years that I would put in the team ahead of Mo Salah. And so he'd be my first pick because of his consistency. You probably then look, some would pick Harry Kane. I'd probably personally, I know he's been a shorter time, I'd go with Haaland for the records he's broke. And then on the left, probably Hazard, maybe Gareth Bale. I'd have to check the dates of when they were here, right? If I'm splitting it into those sectors. But anyway, they are disrespecting him. And I thought what Jamie Carragher said and did was just strange. Yes, it's going to create some questions for Arne Slot, but then Arne Slot then needs to do what Mo Salah has done and go, I can understand the player's frustration. I want him to stay. Hopefully a resolution is found. I think you're doing Arne Slot a favor. No one, we all know nowadays. I know there's been big debates in the last few days around, especially on TalkSport, around what a head coach is or a manager is. And Simon Jordan actually did a really good piece on this today where he basically said it's almost semantics. They have a say in transfers. They have a say in new contracts, but they don't make the final decision. None of them do now in the same way that they used to many years ago. They were given a list of players they can sign and pick off the list, but they can't choose that list. They can say they want a player to get a new deal, but they can't actually sign the new player's contract. The money men at the top have to. So I think that Mo Salah has done Arne Slot a favour in the way he's called this out because they've got to keep him. I think genuinely.
Do you think all three of them want to stay, Tel? Do you think the three of them want to stay at Liverpool?
Not Trent. Trent wants to go.
I think Trent wants to go and try something new. I think Trent wants to try something different, if I'm being honest, just the gut feeling I get. But when it comes to Mo Salah, not only is he in the conversation of Premier League GOATs, he's Liverpool's greatest ever attacker in the Premier League era. Suarez is amazing. Player? Well, he's the greatest ever player. And this is the thing. This is why it's so important to keep him. 30 plus years the Premier League has been going. And this is the best attacker, most consistent attacker, best and most consistent with the most longevity Liverpool have had in that era. The likelihood of his replacement, whether it's a centre forward for the goals or a right winger, is irrelevant. The likelihood of his replacement being as good, as consistent, or better is so low because in 30 years he is your best. You've got to do everything you can to keep him at the club because at some point he'll be gone, retirement, too old, whatever it may be. It's so hard to replace greatness. You can't just let it go. And this is why when you look at the great Liverpool teams of the 70s, you look at Arsenal's best team under Wenger, even City are going through it now. Some of your greatest ever players in your club's history leave or they're injured. Replacing them is almost impossible. I don't know if you may never get a midfielder as good as KDB again in the next 30, 40 years. Not because you won't try, but the players at that level are finite. They're so rare. You have to keep them for as long as possible. And I keep seeing Liverpool fans, we'll give him a 3-year deal when he dies and falls off. What signs has he shown of falling off? None. You saw him take his shirt off the other day, and I don't mean any sort of, no, did he here? That man's body is he doesn't look like showing any. It isn't like, listen, Casemiro came back from pre-season. He looked like a boss man. Do you know what I mean? There was a bit of a double chin. He looked that way. You could tell, he's aging out a bit. Mo Salah looks immaculate, especially now he's had the hair transplant. He looks even better. They're crazy, genuinely crazy. I mean that. Like they're mad, Liverpool. And their fans should be fuming.
But speaking, the thing is, just quick point on this, yeah. So he's out of contract, right? Say he wants a 3-year contract. It'd be 33 in the summer. So that'll take him to 36, right? Yeah. So all you really have to hope is that he just doesn't fall off next year, right? Because then he'll go to 34, because that's maths, isn't it? You know what I mean? And then at 34, 35, you're then starting to expect him to decline a little bit. But you're going to get a good 18 months out of him, in my opinion, before he really significantly drops. And he's still going to get you goals. I mean, come on, man. He's got 16 G&A this year. He's got 20. He's got 22 goals and assists already. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? Just give him the contract, man. You ain't going to replace his goals. We let Mahrez go, yeah? And we never replaced his goals. We never replaced him. And it's costing us. We let Sterling go. Never replaced his goals. Now, football's not all about G&A. It's not. But you do need goals and you do need players to create to win matches. And I think if Liverpool let him go, especially while they don't have a prolific forward, yeah, maybe if they bought like a big dog striker, like a Gyökeres, a Osimhen, and they start banging in 20, 30 goals a season, they could go, you know what, fair enough. But whilst they've got players like Gakpo and Jota who never stays fit, it's too much of a risk. Give him a deal, man.
Absolutely. 40-year-old Virgil here says, Terry, Amorim says transfers start and end with him. Your theory is kind of out the window. No, it isn't. It fits completely with what Man United have briefed everybody. The manager selects what positions he wants filled and can give suggestions. The Man United board and decision makers put together a short list of players who meet the criteria, and then Amorim picks off that list which one he wants. Nothing in my narrative has changed at all. So that is starting and ending with Amorim within that structure. But this is the thing. Amorim isn't going to be out there picking all his own players. When's Amorim got the time to travel around the world scouting all these players, watching all their games? When's he doing it? When's he sitting in the... When's he got the time to sit in the negotiation room with the agents all throughout January, all throughout the summer? He ain't doing it. The managers and head coaches don't do that job. Why can't... I mean, I'm going to sound really horrible now, and I don't care. When a football fan's going to get this into their thick fucking skulls, that the managers and head coaches don't do that job anymore and haven't done that job for the best part of 30 fucking years. Jesus Christ the Lord. People keep trying to catch me out with it. You ain't going to catch me out with it. It's how football's run. Fuck me sideways. Oh, we'll move on from that. I've got a video to play. It annoys me. It's not, do you know what it is? It's not my theory. It's literally how City tell us their structure and operate, right? Oh, am I making that up? Right? It's how they all the clubs tell us this is how they operate. We repeat, this is how clubs operate. People go, no, they don't. Yes, they fucking do. Jesus Christ. Of course, and we can get into the nitpicking of, well, the manager gets a say here and he gets, Arteta's getting a say in who comes in to be the new footballing director. Yes, of course he's going to get a say. Because imagine they hire someone and then that Arteta knows nothing about, and then Arteta's like, oh yeah, me and him have been enemies for 10 years. Of course he has to have an input. So they hire someone that is conducive to work with him. But Mikel Arteta isn't going to be picking who his fucking boss is. Wake the fuck up. Oh my God.
Wow.
Is that enough? Is that enough, mate? Is that enough?
It's so annoying. It's so annoying that honestly, it is crazy. It's like when people talk about net spend. Fuck off. It ain't real. It ain't. No club uses it. Dickheads. Stop listening to the sun.
You need to hydrate, Tell. You know what I mean? You see that vein coming through your head, man. You know what I mean?
Right. I am.